Thank you very much for being here and for have waited. I would like to salute you all and the ladies present also. It's always nice to have ladies in football environment, and every day more and more. Well, it's a important match ahead. Obviously, that is a second of a qualifying round where we have a big responsibility. We don't relate with the result that comes from the first match. We relate with the opportunity that we have to make a statement of the work we've been doing. After the first match we played in Nigeria, obviously our focus was to try to recover as quick as possible from all the trip and the impact of that match. The results looks like or makes the match seem easier than it was, not only because of the conditions in which we played in terms of the surface of the pitch, but also the heat and the humidity. And I would like also to remember, because sometimes after the team makes a good result, there's the clear impression that the opponent is weak. And we should respect, because this team is the champion of Nigeria. There's nothing on that team of weakness. There's a way of playing that is very clear, and it's quite difficult to beat. I remember that for 50 matches that team had not lost on that pitch. So our challenge was exactly that. We put it ourselves the challenge to try to win the match over there, trying to state ourselves not only on the qualifying round, but mostly internationally as an achievement, and there was a record to be broken there, so we did it. But we expect a very, very tough match also again, in a team that has a special and particular way to play, with a lot of man-to-man marking throughout all the pitch, very aggressive, very high position on the pitch. Let's hope we have a quality pitch tomorrow on Sunday in Loftus, so that we can play good football. Because playing good football approaches us from winning. So that's the intention, that the team has to win the second match. Well, it's obviously an interesting point. We have, unfortunately, some more severe questions, like Motovi Mbala that was surgered last week. Even in the locker room after the match, we spoke a lot about that, and I dedicated, I asked, not after, it was before the match, that I said that we should make a good job and take the spirit of Motovi inside the pitch, and I think the team took it. We wanted to honor him with a good match. So it's the most difficult situation we have in hands in terms of long-term recovery time needed for sure for him to come back. And then the other issues we have are smaller. We have Zuko already training normal with the team. We have Mali that got a small injury on the ankle, as you saw. He was substituted. It's not a huge thing. There's nothing broken on. We were a little bit afraid that might be some bone question, but that isn't. So he will come back in proper time. Then we have Temba also on his, let's say, recovery process. It's not something that we finish in 1 week, but also we don't expect it to take long. But we need to be careful. He's a very important asset, and like everybody, it's also a question of human being. We need to bring him up in the best conditions for him to be available for us. And basically that's and then there's the question on Ikram Reyners. As you know, Ikram Reyners came from the national teams. Thank God, and his biology and physiology, we were able to see that, and to the effort of the doctors and the exams he did, there's no issue in terms of cardiac question that will take him out of his career, because in this kind of situation everybody stays afraid. No, thank God, no. It's a minor thing that we need also to give him some time. He's now starting to train with the team, so he was 2 weeks absolutely without training. But he started yesterday, and today he trained already integrated in the team, and he made all the training sessions. So we should expect Ikram to now get on his condition and be available again for the team. And I think that I'm not forgetting anyone.
Yeah. Afternoon, members of the media. Yeah, I think, as Mamelodi Sundowns, we didn't have the best start to the season, because we obviously set high standards for ourselves. But I think with the players that have come in now, they've sort of adjusted well to, what is required from them and what's required from us as Sundowns. And going into the Remo game, I think they're a good team, very aggressive. The man marking us the whole game, they made it quite difficult. But we went in there with the right attitude, right mentality, and we played for one another. And obviously in the end, our quality came out, and that's how we were able to get a positive result. Yeah, I think, and then that's how football goes, it's a game of seasons. But every day, I put it upon myself to come and do my best. There'll be occasions where, it's maybe not up to scratch, but we're a team, we're a unit, we're full of brothers. When one is down, I can count on the others to pick me up, and I think my job is just to work as hard as I can, knowing that I have the full support of my team, the coaches, to get back to the level that's expected of me. And that's what I'm working towards.
It's interesting because you are always asking, not you personally, in general, always asking where is the best, when is the best, when is the best. It seems that is never enough. It's very interesting to take a look on that. I don't see people charging no one else such a way. It's because we win 5 is not enough because the guys are weak. It's it's never enough. It's never enough. It seems that there's really a high standard towards us. But it's good. It means that people believe in what we do. It means that we, in the past, more long time ago and recently also, we put the standards very high. And people got expectations that life is always on the hype. But if people look inside their houses, their jobs, their careers, what they do in general, they also see that on themselves is not always on the hype. Teams are rebuilt and built and reorganized and taken from the point where they were towards the future. Regarding conditions, they have to do it. And we had a very, very tough period after the club World Cup. I think that if you look internationally and you take a look on some of the teams, you see how they are struggling also towards this period of the season. What you should expect is that the work of people here is very serious, very strong, very committed. And that's the way how we see the development of this team. But I expect the team to grow in medium term, not exactly automatically after 2 or 3 days. As you understood, we just had the players that entered the team that immediately will be out. For example, Miguel will not be able to play 2 matches in a row in the championship. Tebo, who was put strangely out of this match with Pirates, for example, with a red card, or 4th yellow card on the last minute of the match, was quite surprising to see that happen. So the team will always be reorganizing itself. And the comfort we have is that the players work very hard to be on the level of substituting each other. We just heard from Grant what he stated here, and I totally support. Grant was a player that played the matches in the Club World Cup, where probably, I said that, and I don't get tired to repeat, where South Africa saw probably the best football ever on its history. And he was playing first 11, so it's absolutely normal that he feels that he can play on the national team. But that is regarding Grant, but also regarding other players that try to raise the level. We see Keanu in the way that he's playing, and I don't see him worse as compared to any central back in South Africa in the moment. And Mali was just there also. So it's regarding these values of commitment, of being together, of growing together, that the team will develop. Where it will be the best or not the best has to do, obviously, with the commitment we have towards the objectives in terms of behaviors in the pitch. But fluctuations in performance will always happen. What we have to do is get the results one after the other. And that's the focus the team has, starting from Sunday again and repeat a victory. That is an important one, of course. Yeah, very, very interesting question and point that makes us all together reflect and then analyze the things. Obviously, that 4 months after being in such standard where we were, despite we didn't go through the group stage and how we were penalized by that, we sit in a position where we feel that the expectations are always very high, and that sometimes even when you achieve things, it seems that is not enough. I repeat it again. I remember that last year we had the sensation when we didn't win the Champions League final, we had the sensation that it was like the end of the world, because we were so considered unsuccessful in a moment where exactly we should have been at least taking in consideration that we went on a final and we played the final. It seems like we were even more penalized by losing the final rather than if we had been taken out in the semi-final with Ahly. But that is the dimension of Mamelodi Sundowns, and we need to be on the level of that dimension. We know that the expectations regarding ourselves and our job are very high, and our commitment in terms of motivation on trying to deliver quality work to the players so that they get the stimulus that also raise their level as football players and as a team can be obviously the highest possible. But the experience from the World Cup, and going directly on your question, the spirit of the World Cup should be put it on everyday life as a standard, and that's a standard that should be put it inside the club, toward every department, and also on ourselves as coaches and players. And we take it all together with that responsibility. We want to be again on the next Club World Cup. We want to be again disputing finals of continent competitions. And for that, we need to respect every and each opponent very strongly. Yesterday, I was collecting some images to show to the players tomorrow in order to discuss the game we played and how we beat it and why we had the possibility to score such goals and to have that performance. And one of the things that was so beautiful to see is that after, and I invite you to go back and take a look on those images, after every goal scored, the ball was put on the center, was started to be played by Remo stars, and our players ran so much immediately to press the ball. So that's that happiness and commitment that Grant stated that we need to bring. And that comes from experiences that we lived, from the fact that we were in highest points. And we just hope that we can keep that stability of behaviors, of desire, of passion, of will, of commitment, knowing that always in the other side there will be teams that have quality. They try to prepare the match as best as possible, and in some moments they will create us problems that we have to deal with. Let's hope we can deal with them in the best way possible and still achieve results.
Yeah, obviously the Champions League has been a bit of an Achilles heel for us, considering that usually we do so well to get to a particular stage, and then when we're supposed to, take it to the max, we sort of fall short. But I don't think we're discouraged. I think it's just building even more character within the group, knowing that we are capable of reaching that stage. Now it's just about us going the whole way, So I think the desire is still there. The hunger is still there. As a team, I think it's the one trophy that we so much want, especially this group, considering how well we've done in the league, and I think the Champions League is what's short in this group, So I think going into this season, we'll obviously analyze the mistakes and how we fell short, so that if we do reach that stage, we're able to do better than we did in the previous seasons.
It's interesting because as we understand from your question, you also take it as a failure last year because you compare the situation of this. Now let me finish. You said that the year before you stayed on the semi-final and this last season as well. That's were your words. What I mean is there's a conception that a team that reaches a final of a Champions League and is not able to win it fails. And myself, I have another perspective. we succeeded to go to the final, but we didn't reach ultimately the best desire that we had, that was to win. And that's why we probably deal with emotions that we don't get over. It's because everybody had so much expectations. And I understand, and it starts from ourselves. But we should never allow that to make us smaller than we really are, and not praise the fact that we also put out on the semifinal and on the fourth of the finals the two first classifieds on the first and second position of the CAF ranking. And that's how I sometimes see the things. We have sometimes we look at the empty side of the bottle, sometimes we look the full side of the bottle. And I always like to look at both so that I don't lose the ambition for the future. What we want to feel it completely, but I also don't look only the empty part. No, myself, how I see the things. And by looking both sides allows me to really state myself towards the ambitions that we have. Because if I look just one part, I will be not ambitious enough to continue fighting for the ultimate challenge. And if I just look to what we have to, or if I put myself under emotions that are too negative, I also will not get the right positioning as a coach to keep giving energy to my players towards the objectives that we have ahead. And I always try to give to myself the best comfort possible so that I don't lose any kind of focus on my job. And I'm the first one to create the dynamic of growth and demand on the players and on the team so that we can be stronger. Regarding your question, that is absolutely beautiful question and point regarding how to keep players that were already on Bafana that now are not, how to deal with them. And this brings me to the first talk I had with the team when we gathered all the group after the players came from the international matches. And my speech was, congratulations to all of you. The ones that were on this call-up, the ones that were also on the previous ones that made part of this campaign. But, guys, it's time to put more people there. And to put more people there, we need to perform as a club, as a team, very well. We need to produce results, we need to play good football, so that then the coach trusts or keeps trusting the players that he already took there. Obviously that in a club like us, that has so many demands regarding all the competitions and the level of football we need to play, we need to have a group that has more than one player in the highest level for each position. And it's so difficult for us when you have Aubrey Modiva playing first 11, how you can then put at the same level Fawaz, that is competing for the same positioning in the national team. It will be always tricky for that. It will be always tricky. But should any of them give up on the fight for the position? No, they have to fight between themselves. And how we do that? By trying to be very accurate on evaluating training sessions. Because we don't put names to play, we put performance to play. If one trains better than the other, he will play. If he's not training better than the other, he will not play because he's a Bafana. Or he's now being first 11, he will not. We'll take him out and put the other one. Because if I put the best ones on the moment, the team will be stronger. And that's how we do. But obviously the ambition of the players is to keep performing and show performance. And every opportunity turn their lives around. Because sometimes it's like that. Mali was playing, Grant was out, Mali got injured, Grant started to play, and most probably he'll play next match in the position. And from that is Mali now that will have to fight against his performances on training sessions and on matches to regain his position. Because the level is so that I have to be respectful to the players towards their own performances. And there's really a worry that we have as coaches is every training session, sit together and say, how was this, how was that player, how you think this, how you think that, when we can give an opportunity for them to express on the matches. And I think that compared to the past, if you take a look on this match that we played in in Remo Stars, so in Nigeria, the big difference that the coach had was the bench that he could use. Because I don't know if you remember, but for example, when we played away in Stellenbosch, I had only Ikram Reyners as an attacking player on the bench. And now the team is more complete, the group is more complete. We have the boys that came from the Under-20 World Cup. We have Miguel and Nuno that came from recruitment. We have Tsiki already in a good position regarding his development. So we get more options, more competition. The level of training session raises a lot. So the team has to, regarding that, also to give answers. And I think that keeping pace in the front, keeping capacity to aggress the opponents, having variability also in the way you challenge the opponents is very important for us. And that brings us obviously to have expectations towards the development of the team in the future. Because it's like that and in recent past it was we struggled a lot regarding those positions.
I think for us, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We haven't qualified for the group stages yet. The coach has emphasized when we got back on the fact that especially last season we would come off good victories, and then the next game we would sort of disappoint or not hit the mark. So it's just about us understanding what we did that side and knowing that we have to finish it off this side because it's only half time. There's another game to be played, so I think we just need to stick to our guns and make sure that we give an even better performance than we did away at Remo Stars. Yeah, I think I'm happy and I'm so proud of him because I think we started about the same time at SuperSport. We also played together against each other, development level, and for him to reach the level that he has on such a consistent basis, is no fluke. I think everyone could see it from a young age. He's just got that presence about him, He's always working hard, always willing to learn, always willing to help the next person, and he's representing himself well, but also the club and his family. And all we can do is just cheer him on and wish him the best. And we hope that he can come back with the award.
I totally share the position of Grant. For me as a coach, and I spoke about Rowan, I think after the match in Nigeria, I never get tired of speaking about players that have commitment with their own job, commitment with the team and the club. And it's not only, obviously Rowan is an example, but players like Terza, like Grant, like even Musa, like Motogi, so I'm speaking about the older players, let's say, or the players that are in the club for longer. At Morena, Mudau, Aubrey. These players also share the values of the club with the other teammates. They are the ones that create a strong locker room. Dennis, before we had also Temba. I don't just want to lose any name, but because basically this is a heritage. Now players that pass the heritage of the club under its values to the new ones that arrive in the club. And obviously Rowan is an important one on that. Is always a reminder of the attitude that we need to have on representing this club, and that comes for all of us, even sometimes for us coaches. As a player, he speaks for himself. Last year he got the award that he got, and he keeps sustaining performances, and he will for sure in the future continue to do it. So we feel very happy for that. Regarding the position of the club, for me, myself as a coach, it makes me happy. It means that we were able to help the club to keep the standard. And we arrived in the club, and throughout the season we were able to help the team to perform so that the club can be put among the best ones in the continent. And you know that we got one position up on the CAF ranking, but we have a lot of challenges ahead. We have to make good points this season on the Champions League so that we can get us in this as comfortable position as possible toward positioning for the qualifying for the next Club World Cup, and that's basically how we contribute to the club by the position we have as coaches. So we feel very, very proud to see the club being highlighted like that, and that's how I see it. Regarding individual awards, obviously that we always stay happy with individual awards, being whoever, but we always take them as a consequence of the collective work that we do every day. That is the most important thing, because usually if the teams perform, the players will be highlighted. One day one, another day another day another, but in the end there will be a lot of promotion that will become individual, because it's like it is when the team performs. So we should focus always on the team performance. So naturally, there will be men of the match, there will be the best in the pitch, there will be a lot of individual appraisals, because it's as a consequence, of course.